All right, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you're watching this. I'm about to go through a walkthrough of work pickup tomorrow. Table, fourth grade and third grade is at the same table. And then as you walk over, you'll see that the fourth grade table is laid out. Mr. Tillish's work is consisting of the red folders, and Mrs. Schnetz's work consists of the math books on top. So that will help you to be able to decipher the difference. Mrs. Schnetz's class, your names for your work are on top of your math books, and Mr. Tillish's class on top of your language arts folder. Don't forget to look on both sides of the picnic table as your work is also laid out on the benches. All right, take care. Hello, hello. All right, so we're gonna do a little walkthrough of the work that you picked up. When you picked up your work, you grabbed a red folder, you grabbed a black folder, you grabbed a cursive book that's underneath the black folder, and then you grabbed your math book, your volume 2 math book. So let's take a little peek inside here to see what we got. When you open up your language arts folder, you will see work on two sides. The first thing that I want to bring to your attention is your, this is something new that we have added to our virtual learning experience. And what this is just a work menu for the next 2 weeks. The first page you see is the whole week layout. And so you're looking at all of the work that you have between now and April 24th. Here we have the 2 PE links that we've posted so far. You have your Zoom information and then some extras, or read alouds of William Steig, collection, and Epic, and actually any of the books that have been added to your collection, which actually consists of William Steig and our By the Great Horn Spoon novel. If you haven't yet got onto Epic, here is our classroom code, and that classroom code will get you Epic for free all the way through June, or at least more access to a larger variety of books. And then you have your AR test link here as well. So you have this virtually, which I will show you right now. Kids, you have this virtually in your Google Classroom. If you go to Google Classroom and you click on Mr. Tillish's fourth grade class, you will notice when you click on classwork up at the top of the screen there, that brings up your topics. And these topics, one of them includes your My To-Do list. And if you click on your to-do list, that is where your work menu resides. This is where you can access what it is that you could be doing each day. Again, digitally, it's the same thing as the packet. So the first page is the whole week layout, as it says over here on the right-hand side. And then as you proceed through the pages, you'll notice that first is the week of April 13th. And so that is, the 13th is today. I know you guys won't be picking the work up till tomorrow, or today, whenever you guys watch this video, or maybe yesterday you could have picked the work up. So once you have that, you can go through and take a look at the work that is kind of laid out for you for the day. That first column is language arts. Oh, you'll notice that this is for Tuesday. The next page is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so on. So going back to Tuesday, you'll notice you got the daily grind for both language arts and math. You'll see that every day. Reading, your writing cycle, IXL, and reflex math. And then under language arts as well, you'll notice on Tuesday, you are going to have some short reading passages, doodle loops, and I'll go over all of this in just a moment as we continue going through your folders. But basically, I just want to let you know that we put together kind of a pacing guide. Do you need to stick with it? Absolutely not. Please continue simply focusing on the routine and procedure of this that exist in a classroom. And that way, when we do go back to school, it's going to limit all of the exhaustion. And so if you're not following along day to day, no worries. But in following along, you'll notice that on Tuesday, by the time you get started, there will be a YouTube tutorial for this particular math book lesson, Chapter 8, Lesson 6. You'll be able to use that to help you proceed through the pages that we're going to be doing, 521 and 522. There's also a link to digital copies. If somehow you lose your book, you're going to have digital copies of everything that you are given in paper form. Wednesday, you'll take a look. It changes over here in Language Arts. Now you see Benchmark ELA. Kids, this is our consumable book that we write in and we read from. And this will be the subject of our lesson on Wednesday. So if you're sticking to the plan, you're gonna notice that the tutorials that pop up are going to support that particular skill or activity that was assigned for that particular day. And that'll help me to stay on track as well. I will continue posting a mountain math tutorial throughout the week. And you'll also notice that the daily grind is still there. Thursday, you'll notice that no benchmark language arts lesson, but there is another math book lesson. And so as you proceed through these pages, you'll notice that I've broken up all of the work for the next 2 weeks into chunks for you guys to help, cross off everything that you've done or remind you what still needs to be done. So I hope that this works out, and I would love some feedback. Like, Mr. Tillers, this is way too busy. I don't know what any of this is. I'm confused. Just let me know, please. Because as you give me feedback, I get to make changes. That's us working together. All right, so that is your menu. That's your work menu. Let's go back to the work that is inside the folders. So I'll set off the menu to the side here. When you open it up, this is your Benchmark Language Arts book. And we will be using this book to access the 4th grade Unit 7 comprehension activities. Mrs. Smith, kids, found some variations on the worksheets that we're used to using. So I do hope that these prove to be a bit more user-friendly and will set you up for success. So you'll notice as we proceed through these pages, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 pages. Sorry, I'm running off the camera here. And then we start week 2. Each one of these pages will be supported in a video lesson. And to figure out which lesson is going to be occurring on a particular day, you can access the YouTube tutorial that went with it. The next thing, these are your short reading passages. These are passages that, as I go back to your work menu here, you'll notice these reading passages are here. What are we working on? Grammar, parts of speech, and comprehension of what the information was contained within the passage. So going back, you'll see that you have your passage. Here's your comprehension. Here is your vocabulary development and your grammar. I hope that I hope these to be passages that you read multiple times. Parents, these are going to be great passages for your kids to read out loud and for you to follow along, beginning to end, very shortly. Keeping that stamina of reading out loud alive, keeping the stamina of being able to read through an entire passage, and then apply what it is that you read to some questions, to some grammar, and some vocabulary development. Okay? So these are your short reading passages. Moving on, we also have doodle loops. Now, doodle loops are new to me. This is something to get us thinking about narrative writing. We are working on narrative writing, or we'll start the process in order to develop our ability and joy of writing stories. Okay, so you have boxes for all of the elements of writing a successful story, and then you have some prompts. And so the title of this prompt is, Where Am I Going? Notice that there's not a whole lot of information, but there is space for you to write your narrative front and back by completing your graphic organizer for who your character is going to be. Where's the story going to take place? All of the places that the story is going to be taking place. If you are going to be traveling, problems, solutions, right? This is what makes the story exciting right here. And some spaces here for you to take some notes. So you'll notice as you go back to your work menu, you'll see that on, let's see, which day do we have some doodle loops? That looks like tomorrow or Tuesday, April 14th. Doodle loops, What Am I Cooking will be the title of the passage that you're reading. And so going through your doodle loops pack here, you'll see the Where Am I Cooking? Sorry, I did not staple that appropriately, or at least put it on your work menu so that it was Where Am I Going first, and then Where Am I cooking? What am I cooking? But I'm very confident you can solve that problem. And feel free to use this graphic organizer. Notice you only have one graphic organizer, so you may need to take a piece of paper and recreate this graphic organizer to organize the information you're going to be including in your story. So these are doodle loops. I'm looking forward to this, and I will put a YouTube tutorial, a walkthrough for doodle loops at some point. Okay, carrying on. This is something that only a few of you have. This is, so if you do not have this, I did not forget to put it in your folder. If you're concerned and you're like, man, my kids should totally have it, or you children are like, my gosh, Mr. Tillich, this is something that you would give to me. This is something that Mrs. Green put together for her reading group. And if you're in Mrs. Green's reading group, you know who you are. This is for you to continue working on reading comprehension and working on your stamina of reading texts out loud. And on the back, there are some comprehension questions. So kids, this is not on the work menu. Parents, I hope that you can dive into this with your child, because it's more of an exercise than a main event. Okay, so I'd rather have them reading this out loud to you, and then going through together and answering these comprehension questions, or having them work independently and go back and check for accuracy as they finish up. So if you did not get this, it's okay. I did not forget. This is something for Mrs. Green's reading group. All right, cool. So that pretty much wraps up language arts. When you look at that work menu, and it's kind of overwhelming. When I looked at it at first, after I got done making it, But if I can create this YouTube tutorial appropriately and connect the unpacking to the elements or the activities that are in the work menu, just showing you the connection, I hope that it demystifies any questions for you. So let me just open this up again real quick, make sure I got everything. Looks like language arts is good to go. All right, so moving on from language arts, we will now move into the black folder. The black folder is your mathematics folder. Inside of this folder, you will open it up and you'll notice that you have some review worksheets for double-digit multiplication. You'll also notice that there's a number in the top right-hand corner. Long division, multiples, we have equivalent fractions, which I will be providing lessons for any fraction material that you have. Because that is where we've left off. Number patterns, you got your pattern boxes here so that you can visually see what's happening to the numbers, and then following the rule over here to the left-hand side. Again, the number in that left-hand corner is important. Why is that? Ordering fractions, and then adding and subtracting fractions that have the same denominator or bottom number. So why is this number in the upper right-hand corner important? Because that is considered to be your page number. And if you notice, you have a section under math called IXL worksheets. It's called IXL worksheets because we got it from IXL. And it says page 1 and 5 here on Tuesday. So if you go back, you'll notice you got page 1, and then you have page 5. So you have number patterns and you have double-digit, multi-digit multiplication. I would like you to use any strategy to solve these problems. That's your bow tie, that's your shortcut algorithm, your area models to solve these two-digit multiplication problems. You do not have to do the shortcut algorithm if it's not something you are comfortable with yet at this point. So these are your IXL worksheets, and they are spaced out for you on your work menu. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll notice that there are your Mountain Math sets. This is set 19. You can tell Mr. Tillish made this because it gets cut off. Set 19, and then you have the problems 1 through 12 that go for set 19. At the bottom it says go turn it over, and you have set 20. And included are 2 Mountain Math Common Core Daily Review packs for you to answer these questions. I will, again, to remind you, send out a YouTube tutorial on at least one of these Mountain Math sets to check for accuracy, especially when it comes to number 8 and number 12. Number 12 has its very own YouTube tutorial, which will be posted to our YouTube channel at Chris Tillish for you to access, and will also email it to you, both parents and children, so that you can use the tutorial to guide you through the steps. It's a doozy. There's a lot of steps to the process of getting to the final answers. Okay. So you will now notice that you also have that cursive book. The cursive book is for you to work at your own pace. Kids, many of you are dying to use that cursive book and wondering why Mr. Tillish never works it into the daily schedule. Well, here is your chance to work on your cursive writing. Okay? So that is your math folder. And then you got your math book, your volume 2 math book. Your volume 2 math book is also on your work menu under math book lessons. Math book is not a compound word. It's actually 2 words, so we can go and space that out. And for each lesson, there will be a YouTube tutorial to help walk through that particular lesson. So for Tuesday, you'll notice it says Chapter 8, Lesson 6, pages 521 and 522. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to the dock camera, going in, Lesson 6, and I'm going to turn to the appropriate page. Actually, give me one moment. Mr. Tillish's book is a little different because I've already gone through and tore out my pages. You don't have to worry about that. So, pretending you're opening up your book and you are turning to your appropriate page. The lesson is Lesson 6. You'll notice that first page is not 521 and 522. 517, 518, that's all of our guided practice. That's you guys talking to one another. What do you already know? What do you know about the different examples and strategies that they give you? 519 is the independent practice, which will be included on the lesson, and also the backside containing our problem solving. The 521 and 522 are the actual homework pages. You'll notice 521 is really just a visual for you to remind yourself of the skill that we're working on. And then 522 has the actual problems that you can apply. That is your independent practice, okay? This independent practice form here is for us to do together via the YouTube tutorial, okay? So that is how your math book is really going to work. We will not be doing every lesson in the math book. Rather, we've gone through and spaced them out. And so you'll notice Tuesdays, Chapter 8, Lesson 6. I believe Thursdays, Chapter 8, Lesson 9. And you're moving on through. The second week, you got Chapter 9, Lesson 4. So there is a bit of skipping around, only to ensure that we're accessing the essential skills that will prepare you for the next steps you'll experience in the 5th grade. So overall, I believe the work is following some similar patterns. We have the new edition of the work menu, and we will complete all of these within the next 2 weeks. And so be on the lookout for our YouTube tutorials so that you can get some assistance as we go. I'd like to leave off with one suggestion or one little bit of advice. I'm going to flip my camera around here and I'm going to put it on me. So maybe not. I would like, first take, can't erase it. All right, sorry. So I do want you to understand that, yes, we are only Zooming once a week on Wednesdays at 11 o'clock as a whole group. Parents, kids, I am available to Zoom with you one-on-one whenever you have questions. If you give me a few hours notice, I can make myself available to offer assistance after dinner time. I'm home, I'm not going anywhere. I can get my kids all taken care of if I have some advance notice, and I would love to help you on any of the work that we have, even if it's the daily grind writing cycle, especially. So please reach out to me and let me know if you would like to set up an individual one-on-one Zoom time. That could include you and your mom or your child. So please reach out to me. I look forward to that. The Zoom piece and seeing your faces, kids, is what's keeping me happy and keeping me loving what I'm doing. So reach out. You got questions, need help, please do so. All right, you guys, take care.